Okay, so we're on the back side now of the circumference area practice sheet, 5.2W or whatever it's labeled. What if they give us the circumference and now we have to find the radius? So it's a little kind of like working backwards with the formula. What we want to do is solve for r. We want to figure out what radius is by isolating the r algebraically. So we're going to use our formula. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Right? We have to use the circumference formula that has the r in it because we're needing to solve for r. And since circumference equals 2 pi r, we can replace this c with 2 pi r. And then solve for r. 2 pi r equals 18 pi. So what are we going to do to solve for r, to get r all by itself? Yep. Good. We can divide by 2 pi. Now, be careful here. We can do this one pretty much in our head, so it's not as critical what I'm going to tell you what happens about the calculator. But if we divide both sides by 2 pi, since there's a pi on both sides, the pi's cancel out. Now, on the left, the 2's also cancel out. We're left just with r. On the right, we have 18 over 2, which equals 9. So radius is 9. So the directions say find the radius, then find the area. So now that we know the radius, we can plug that into our area formula. 9 squared is 81, and that's just like the answer we got on the other side, 5 or something like that. Uh, 254.47. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so remember with area, it's square units. This is considered the exact form, and this is the approximate area. Yeah. You do it for both. I just didn't label this square centimeters. Anything with area. Area is always square units. Yep. Okay, so let me show you what I was saying. Be careful. First of all, what did we do here? We did 18 pi divided by 2 pi, right? Right, let's look at the calculator. Watch me first. If I do 18 pi divided by 2 pi, what did we get when we did that? We got 9. Ooh, what did I do wrong? Oh, okay, sorry. Let's do that again. 18 pi divided by 2 pi. We expect to get 9. What did the calculator do? Yeah, Tom. It actually did 18 pi divided by 2, and then that answer times pi. So that's why it came out completely wrong. We can fix this situation. Oh my goodness, this calculator is crazy. 18 pi divided by, what could we do? Parentheses 2 pi. Because you need to tell that calculator that you want that pi to be part of the denominator. So the only way to do that is just put it in parentheses. And then you'll get the right answer. Okay, makes sense? All right, so let's go back to this, because look at number 8. What's different about number 8? There's no pi, exactly. 2 pi r equals 40. The circumference equals 40 feet. There's no pi. So now when we divide by 2 pi on both sides, you get 40 over 2 pi. The pi's don't cancel. Can I simplify 40 over 2? What would that be? 20 over 1, right? But the pi is still sitting there on the bottom. 20 over pi. So one like, yep, sorry. Okay, really good question. She's asking, do you rationalize the denominator? And you could. I'm going to say you don't need to. In a problem like this, I wouldn't ask you for the exact form. I would just ask you for the decimal form in this situation. Okay, so if the radius is 20 over pi, we're going to put that into our calculator. 20 divided by pi. And we're going to get 6.366, etc. Now, on my paper, I might round that to approximately 6.37. But now I have to find the area. And I have to square that and times it by pi. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks on the calculator that I think are important to understand. All right, I'm going to use this as the example. So right now, my calculator has the full radius stored in its memory right there, right? I could round it and write it on my paper, but if I want to keep my answer as accurate as possible, so I haven't gotten to my answer yet, right? I need the area. If I want to keep my answer as accurate as possible, I want to not round until the end, right? So instead of rounding this to 6.37 and then entering that squared into my calculator, I'm going to let my calculator do the work. My calculator already has that full radius stored there. Now I have to square that as part of my area formula, right? I have to do r squared. So if I just push the squared key, it'll automatically take that last answer and square it. That's r squared. Now I have to multiply that by pi. So I'm going to let my calculator keep that answer also. I'm not going to round it yet, right? And I'm going to multiply by pi. That's my area, right? So now I can round this to 127 point, let's say 32. But since I didn't round all the way through, this is going to be as accurate as an area as we can get. Square feet. That makes sense? Okay, I'd like you to try numbers 9 and 10. Notice that number 9 has a pi, number 10 does not have a pi. All right, so this one, you have 2 pi r equals 30 pi. When you divide by 2 pi, the pi's cancel, and r turned out to be 15. Area, exact area was 225 pi. Approximate area was 706.86. Now remember, with area, it's square units. Okay, this other one, be careful. I didn't get around to everybody for this one, so check your answer carefully. When we divide by 2 pi, now there's no pi to cancel on the right-hand side. So the radius is just 10 over pi, right? And when we do 10 over pi, it becomes approximately 3.18, I think it was. Okay, and so then the area turns out to be approximately 31.8. Yeah. Well, 31.77 would round to 31.8, right? 7, 7. The 7 rounds up to a 8. So I just rounded to a different decimal place. Right? Okay. Okay, any questions on that? So just be careful with these problems, notice when there's a pi and when there's not a pi. Okay? All right. Let's look at the bottom half of this now. Same idea, working backwards, except this time they give you the area instead of giving you the circumference. So in this case, we have pi r squared equals 36 pi, right? Because area equals pi r squared, or r squared pi. Either way, right? So now we want to solve for radius again. What are we going to do on both sides? Divide by pi. Well, this one's nice because there's a pi on both sides, and we end up with r squared equals 36. How do we get just r? Square root, exactly. So we're going to square root both sides, and radius is 6. So then it says find the circumference. So now we take the radius that we found, and we do 2 times that radius times pi, and we get 12 pi as our exact, that's kilometers, circumference, and our approximate is 37.7. Circumference, is that kilometers or square kilometers? Plain kilometers, right. Okay, same situation happens. Number 12 has no pi in the area that they give us. So area equals 100. We're going to do pi r squared equals 100. Again, we are going to divide by what? Pi. So r squared equals 100 over pi. Well, let's go back to our calculator now. I've got another trick to show you on the calculator. This one's really important. It'll help you with SATs and be a little bit more efficient, faster. You won't waste time on your calculator so much. So r squared right now, we know, is 100 over pi. So we're going to do 100 divided by pi. Okay, that's 100 divided by pi. So that's r squared. Now we need to square root that, right? Okay, so this is the helpful hint on your calculator. If you want to square root that, you're going to push square root of. Now, you want that last number to go under this square root sign. Instead of rounding it and typing it in there, or instead of typing all of that in there, there is a button on your calculator that tells the calculator that you want to use that last answer here. And it is your second function, and then the negative sign right down here. See how it says ANS above that? That means answer. So it's going to take your last answer now and insert it here. That's a really good, helpful hint because you don't want to waste a lot of time like retyping in some stuff. So square root of the last answer now is 5.64. At this point, I'm ready to write that as my rounded radius, 5.64. But now I have to find the circumference. So I have to do that times 2 times pi. It's already rounding, right? Like I said, in problems like this, I wouldn't really ask you for an exact answer. I would just consider the decimal answer. So that's our radius. We're going to do that times 2 times pi. And that should give us our circumference, 35.45. Again, plain centimeters for circumference. All right, does that make sense? Oops, not what I meant to do.